Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gods and goddesses, to the Golden Age Gurus podcast, your source for regenerative, entrepreneurial, and eco-friendly global solutions using ancient future strategies that focus on healing ourselves, our community, and the planet. Now, it is truly an honor to introduce your host, Baba John.
So we have our guest host, Ruben Medina, DJ Medina.
This show is brought to you on Patreon, where creators are supported by their tribe. For the cost of a latte, you can support the show and my advocacy around fringe legal topics ranging from zero waste in Bitcoin to matters of spirit. I'm committed to serving mankind by providing thousands of years of ancestral wisdom. Learn from my gurus, join my network, and get exclusive content. We have a free tier so you don't have to worry about money, a support tier for just a few bucks, and an apprentice level for aspiring Jedi interested in my mystery school and nature-based ministry. We have a VIP business tier for CEOs who want their own wizard. Just remember, King Arthur had a Merlin and Queen Elizabeth had her John Dee. Historically, I've charged way more as a consultant, but while I wrap my last year of law school, I'm willing to help just to get this new platform going. You'll have access to me with the Voxer app and get access to the Advocacy Launchpad and Discord. Sponsorship is sold separate. If you're interested, message and visit patreon.com, patreon.com/Golden Age Gurus. Follow for free and support if you can.
Who I've known for many years, done many events with Ruben, and he's been hitting the crypto circuit pretty hard, and thought he'd be the perfect person. He also did our intro ditty, so thanks for that, Ruben.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you definitely get a cookie for that one.
You know what? I was just really stoked that you had asked me to help out with that. Something that I had in mind for a while. So
yeah, so Ruben has superpowers. He is a human design reflector, which is only 1% of the population.
Wait. In what culture is that design reflector? What is that?
Human design is
That's right.
a system that's based on the I Ching, and which are 64 hexagram codes, which are a quarter of the 256 Odu of Ifa, which I've gone into paleo science in another episode. But bottom line, it's a system that kind of shows how people are designed based on their birth date and some matrix code. It's pretty popular right now. But bottom line, you're a reflector because I've looked you up, which is a very rare mirror to have. So thanks for being my magic mirror, Ruben.
You know what? It's an honor, man. It really is. And as far as everybody should know, or as far as what everybody needs to know, I look at Baba John as like a big brother and also a spiritual guide. So, it's really just an honor to co-create with you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this crypto, this decentralized finance, this DeFi, this DAO, decentralized autonomous organizations. This is really exciting for me.
Yeah, so the title of this podcast, today's show, is about magic internet organization. And, AKA, are you messing with the sound?
I got you now.
Okay. All right. So, since DAO is an acronym for decentralized autonomous organization, people might not understand the benefits of decentralization or autonomy, for that matter. And why do we need new kinds of organizations anyways? Don't we have the traditional legacy organizations, and are those working great? Yeah, we do have some good models that work for a lot of big companies, but like there's a lot of censorship and control, and there's just, as a designer, I've figured out a better way, and turns out the technology is catching up with the design I had in mind for my own organizational efforts. And so here comes
It seems to be a lot of third party, unnecessary third party involvement going on here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I work to create a blockchain startup in America, and most of the resources were going to lawyers. So these DAOs are cutting out the middleman, making smart contracts that are self-executing. It takes out the lawyer out of the equation. So theoretically, it could be cheaper, but now you gotta like have some really high technical know-how to even screw around with this stuff on some levels. But the the fact of the matter is, technology is kind of just like, back in the day. I remember Twitter came out and I could barely comprehend it.
I was just mentioning to a buddy of mine the other day, whenever like explaining the Web3 space, blockchain technology, and I was the best thing I could come up with back in the day, that AOL, like whenever AOL first hit, everybody got that first month for free with that CD. We all popped it in. We all hopped in the chat rooms. We're all asking people our age, sex, location. And I feel like the Web3 space is, according to the experts, they're saying that the Web3 space is as a quantum leap in technology, if not even more than what we experienced with that dial-up internet experience.
Yeah, and if you had bought into Google or Amazon or Netscape or any of that action back in the day, actually Netscape ended up going out of business eventually. but
web crawler.
But bottom line, there was a lot of opportunity in that space. So that's what we're bringing to this show today, is a very exciting evolution on the web that's more free, more abundant, more security, just basically a circle versus a pyramid.
Yeah.
You do what? It's a circle instead of a pyramid. You know how people are like, hey, yo, you got another pyramid scheme? Like, we got a circle scheme.
Right. The cycle.
So have you been able to see if you got XDAI in your wallet?
I did. I checked on my laptop 2 days ago whenever you reached out on WhatsApp, and then I saw there was a balance. I don't know exactly what the balance is, but I imagine it's exactly what you had sent over. And then we need to move it to the next, the next stage, which is bring it into the DAO.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got the MetaMask lined up. So anybody interested in crypto, and if you're interested in making money with decentralized finance, definitely turn it up and share with your friends, like this podcast, and do all that stuff.
Yeah, MetaMask is basically a web browser extension. You can add it to Brave, which is a crypto browser, or you can add it to Firefox or Google Chrome, and it allows you to. It's basically an Ethereum wallet, and Ethereum is kind of the number 2 coin under Bitcoin, and it's said to be more programmable. You know, can do more things for a DAO than Bitcoin, but people are building blockchain as well. But for our purposes, we're working on Ethereum, and with what we're doing and talking about right now. So what I had Ruben do is download MetaMask, and then he had to configure it for our decentralized ledger, which is called Gnosis Chain XDAI. And I know this is a mouthful, but
Because it's a mouthful, we're going to just take a brief moment to thank everybody who's here listening. We're going to take a brief moment, grab your pen, grab your iPad, grab yourself a notepad, something, because there's going to be a lot of golden nuggets and a lot of wizardry going on in the next few minutes, I promise.
Yep. So bottom line, if you just Google Gnosis Chain XDAI is their currency for gas. So
for everybody who graduated with less than a 3.0 GPA, Gnosis is GNOSIS. And there's no shame in that. So, you know, Gnosis, GNOSIS, and then XDAI, XDAI.
Yep, and XDAI is being talked about because it's a cheaper way to run a DAO. It's layer 2 Ethereum, which is what everybody's excited about because Ethereum came out, but they're like, hey, this is too expensive to do actions, which costs gas, and we can go into gas.
So is that the difference between what they say, proof of work or proof of stake or something like that?
Well, Gnosis Chain and XDAI are proof of stake.
That seems to be like a common thing with the Web3 space.
Yeah. Yeah. So proof of, it originally started out as a project that I can't remember, like POA. Man, I have to Google this real quick. Proof.
Yeah, go for it. I was gonna go get my extra iPhone device.
So I know basically Gnosis Chain and XDAI were 2 separate projects.
Okay.
They're merging around this
project,
around this conversation, which, you know, proof of stake cuts out the need for complex computations, you know, so it's kind of a simpler way to go.
Is it overall more affordable too? It seems like it's more efficient, more affordable.
Yeah. So I don't claim to be an expert. I'm learning as well, but the bottom line is they made it cheap to run a magic internet organization, and so these are basically new golden age organizations that everybody can own, can co-own. You can have community currencies. There's different types of tokens and protocol tokens and whatnot, but it's basically decentralizing just about every industry you can think of, whether it's real estate or trash or whatever. But
Right.
you know, there's DAOs popping up left and right. Super exciting because there is just new technology that is a result of people trying to build an alternative to the censorship paradigm. You know.
Yeah, that third party involvement is it seems like people are really getting hip and recognizing that there seems to be more going on.
Yeah, so you know, there was a book that was written called The Spider and the Starfish, and I really recommend, and I'll put it in the show notes, but it goes into things like eBay and Amazon store and why and how decentralization is such a powerful way to go for a business. And you know, like a lot of these crypto projects were doing ICOs in America. The security exchange kind of shut that down, and
Right.
so now since DeFi has come out, it's just like way more decentralized and way safer. Yeah, basically, I met with these developers here at the lake that signed on. They gave us a contract and recommended that we switch from Colony to Moloch DAO, which is one of the oldest types of DAOs. They have the most experience and the most history.
Okay.
You know, it's a security thing. So there's a site in another DAO called DAO House that is powered by the Moloch DAO framework, and we use that to create a new entity that's still on the Gnosis XDAI chain, still proof of stake, but it's you know, got more bells and whistles, and it seems to be a little easier to work with. And instead of me trying to get people to join the colony here,
Right.
the framework is people pay us to join by buying a membership NFT and or paying tribute, and then we'll help them make their own DAO and upgrade to Web3. So we're, you know, a DAO for DAOs.
Right. Okay.
And it's so it's kind of like that Bongo. You know, people would hire me to build their websites and do their branding and do campaigns and stuff, but now it's like all on blockchain with smart contracts and cryptocurrency. And so so yeah, it's basically B Corp 2.0. I'm
Right.
not at Adbongo because Adbongo is a specific LLC in Texas, and this is a DAO. But I am transferring over to this type of infrastructure, and Adbongo can own my shares or not. I'm not sure yet, but it's just got liability having an American entity, you know, tied up with this. So right now we're in Guatemala and made it this way, and we're working to decentralize.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking, Brother John, was this could be a fantastic opportunity to sort of do a part 1 and part 2 series on this topic, because it's good for, I feel like it could be beneficial for us to share with the listeners on how quickly this technology and these developments in the DeFi space and the fintech space, how quickly new developments are manifesting. And so there's so much gold that we went over on that part 1 that I feel like this could be an opportunity for us to sort of follow up with that, share with the people the latest developments, and maybe even do a part 2 here, because we could dive in deeper, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll just go with the flow, and I'll try to salvage some of that, but I don't want to confuse people. It's complicated enough, so I just figured, I'll go back through there and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, because I remember us getting into the details about a little bit of the process on learning more, setting up the MetaMask. I remember that was a lot of gold that we delivered in regards to that.
Yeah, so usually on these coins, they're on some kind of a block scanner like Etherscan or Block Scout, and at the bottom, there's always a MetaMask button that says like add to MetaMask this chain. So I'm noticing some of the DAOs are using this type of button, and instead of trying to configure the MetaMask manually, you just hit the button and it does it for you. The other thing that I'm noticing is like Web 2 logins, like instead of trying to get people on Web 3 to log in that way, like having them log in with their Facebook, and then that connects to the MetaMask. That seems to be the way to go to onboard people. And there's a wallet called Taurus that does those Google, Facebook, Twitter logins, still.
Taurus, but, okay.
Yeah, app.tor.us.
tor.us, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to see that be the hot onboarding platform to get people from Web 2 to Web 3. And a lot of these dApps are using MetaMask to log in, but people just don't grasp it yet.
Yeah, that's essential. So the Web3 space and this new DAO that's being used. You said it's the one that's been around the longest.
Yeah, Moloch DAO. They're like they started in 2018 or 19, and DAOs are pretty much a new thing, so they got like a couple years on everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I was finding the Moloch logo looks rather interesting. What is the logo?
Yeah, well, Moloch was a Canaanite pre-Hebrew deity, supposedly, but there's a excerpt in the Bible where they mention a sacrifice to Moloch of children, and so it's not like a devil worshiping crypto cult or anything. It's basically they talk about it on their docs. It's in reference to a book, and it's basically saying, like, rather than have a system that's so stupid where we're sacrificing babies, like let's create the ability to change and build that into the system. Thus we have the DAO. And so it's built in a way where, the governance, if you want to change something, you get a proposal, everybody votes. The vote is tied to work and stake and shares, and you can change the system. If it's goofy, you can change. So you always hear about forks, this fork and that fork, because these entities, they run their blockchain organization, and then something needs to change. They see how it goes, and then something needs to happen, so they build version 2 and then upgrade or fork to something else. So these things are built to evolve rather than staying stagnant and making systems that don't support anyone's best interest, really. So right now, like most of the population is in a system that doesn't have their best interest, and their vote, you know, does their vote matter? That's questionable, you know.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, well, a lot
Or
of
if it
people.
does matter, how much does it matter? To what degree does it matter? We don't know that.
Well, I could tell you that the last time I voted was for Obama, and I cried for Obama. You know, I was so happy, but then was quickly disappointed and felt tricked. Um, so, you know, the next time I vote, you know, I didn't vote for Trump's era. The next time I do vote, it'll be a blockchain voting system, because that will be more secure and transparent, you know. So
Hopefully that we get to that point. I mean,
yeah,
hopefully the centralized governing systems around the world can find the benefit in blockchain technology just as much as the medical industry has, and even the military to some degree.
yeah. So yeah, the Moloch DAO concept is like a joke about, you know, the system being so dumb that that's what they were doing, you know, a couple thousand years ago. You know, it's a story about not getting stuck in a bad system. And you know, like I've seen translations of that Hebrew that pretty much it's debatable whether Moloch was an entity or if they were referencing Yahweh.
Got you.
So,
Whatever it was, it
so if
seems to
any
be
Christians
more
are mad that we're talking about Moloch, the story's probably about that God. So
right.
reserve that judgment, because, you know, it's not about that. You know, this is about
So
good things happening for good.
yeah, it seems to be more of sort of like a parody or a poking fun at type of thing.
Yeah, and I like it. I like it. You know, the more I look at this, the more excited I get. And I've been playing with the plugins and installed some NFT compatibility enabled NFT gates and NFTs with Nifty NFT.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a kind of a QuickBooks function that I added, and it costs a little bit of gas, but instead of paying Ethereum, I'm paying NextDAI, so it's definitely affordable to do stuff with this DAO using that
So
tech.
what type of people right now would you say, Big Brother John? What type of people would you say are gonna be the type of people that would benefit most from this call to action that we have right now? Is it the entrepreneur? Is it the single mom? Is it the
Well, these DAOs are built to pay people, so the earlier you get in on the action, the more you get. Like if you got in on Bitcoin when it started, you're loaded now.
right, or
So
Google or Amazon or any of these?
yeah, so the trick is not to dilly dally if you want in on it, but for this Save DAO that we've put together, we're looking at this as a way to help other companies get upgraded to current technology that's better for people and the planet. Gnosis Chain is a green blockchain, so anybody that's going into that kind of conversation, we've thought of that. So, you know, if you want to upgrade your business capabilities and think of it as getting in on Google or the internet when it was starting, you're going to have to do it somewhere. You either do it with yourself or you do it with other people. So because these are plugged into DeFi, it allows for shared ownership or rewards, based on participation, based on sharing of information, just help with growing the DAO. So there's basically like job opportunities left and right. All these DAOs are hiring, but you need some technical knowledge in most cases. I mean, they do need, writers and designers, and it's not all programming.
Okay.
But the bottom line is this stuff is pretty complicated, and you got to do it with a village and learn together and profit together and fail together. And so it's just really hard to, in the legacy systems, work with other people. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of distrust. There's a lot of suing people going on. And when you have a disagreement, that's pretty much your only option. But here, the smart contracts, when there's a disagreement, it goes to an arbitration contract and blah, 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 blah. You don't even need a lawyer. And so,
how does that? I'm sure people are going to be fascinated by this. How does that? Is that an automated legal, like an AI? What is that?
yeah, it's actually a legal DAO that's specializing in this kind of stuff, that has created a way to automate without humans a potential disagreement in a contract. So the honest to God truth is I haven't had to do it yet, but I do. I was just looking at LexDAO today, because they're also looking like they're a Moloch DAO, and another DAO made a DAO called Smart Invoice, and a Smart Invoice uses the Lex DAO arbitration method. And I looked at it. I can't recall all the details. It's super complex, but bottom line is what I had in my head is happening. What I needed as an entrepreneur is happening, and it just seems to be a better way to go. It's more exciting. It allows for, I don't know how many projects. I'm sure you've worked on tons of projects that you didn't get paid on. At least with this type of project, the potential that you will get paid. If you put money in, you can get money out, because the value grows as the DAO grows, So, and you can put time or money in, but the likelihood of getting payment in this kind of system is way more likely. So like, if you try to go get a job, like a legacy job, Ruben, they're gonna look at you way more judgingly, with a way more critical eye, and try to strap you down to 9 to 5,
Right.
And the minute there's a government vaccine scare, you're fucked. But this is like an internet. These are internet companies, and they're all growing, and they're all hiring, if you ask me, just based on what I'm seeing. And a lot of it's like remote work, and it's just kind of designed for an emergency, which we've been in for years. So why would you even try to work in that old system anyway? So
Right. So
yes,
people.
there's way more access to funding. Okay, there's more access to capital. You can scale, you can grow quicker. You can theoretically add 1,000 people to a DAO way quicker than you could onboard 1,000 people at a company.
Or even 1,000 employees for that matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like you can grow faster, access to capital is easier because you can create it, you know? So
Okay.
instead of
Yeah,
having to wait on a system based on debt and scarcity to take care of everything, why not just create the abundance?
that's what we're here to do.
Right.
That's so if so truthfully speaking, this will benefit anybody who gets involved, any walk of life, no matter your religion, your sexual background, sexuality, gender, whatever lines that humans have created to divide us doesn't matter with this.
It's definitely built for trustless collaboration. So you don't have to trust people to work with them. Whereas in the legacy system, you better trust them. You
So
know?
I feel like that's gonna scare off a handful of people. And also whenever we say that it's complicated, I feel like that might also turn a handful of people away. What would you recommend would be the approach for somebody to have a less complicated experience when looking into these? I know last time we mentioned they're obviously welcome to reach out to us. I'll have our contact information and all that good stuff. But besides that, what could we recommend for people? Because seems to be a scary space for people, because of it's the fear of the unknown, of this new territory, this new sort of like we're pioneering.
Well, you can pay in dollars to get help, or you can pay in crypto to get help. A lot of times it's cheaper to pay in crypto, and crypto is more available. So if you're trying to run your company, I read a book and I can't remember, but it was about systems design, and it's a pretty well-known book. Can't remember the name, sorry. But the bottom line is it's definitely been identified that in an enterprise, if you want the most momentum, what creates that is change. What
Yeah.
creates them, like companies stuck, what's gonna cause the unstuckness is something shifting or changing.
Correct.
So one can stay where they are if they like where they are, but if they want to move, they have to change something. They have to be open to change. So
Right.
probably just by getting a consultation and having us look at their system, even in the legacy system, we can help.
Right.
You could still do a great legacy system, and I could still make a commercial in the legacy system. But why not have our contract be smart and trustless, and why not work with medium of exchange that we can call magic internet money? And to work with magic internet money, you might need a magic internet organization. So no one, even if they don't comprehend, no one can doubt that people are getting rich off of Bitcoin very quickly. In just 10, 15 years, it went from a pizza to a house.
Now, when we say the word magic, I want to make sure everybody understands that we're not using the term magic in a fairy tale type of way. The dialogue in this word magic is magical in a sense that it's cutting edge. It's very new. It's where we're headed towards the future. It's magical in the sense that before there was AOL chat rooms we thought it was awesome and magical that we could get into a chat room. You know, it's magical on a level of the quantum leaps in technology that humanity is currently experiencing. That's the magic. And if you want to get in on this magic, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, if you want to be of more value to whatever company who currently employs you and introduce these new ideas, the Web3 space, the benefits of the decentralized autonomous organization, these are things that can bring you more value, not only to your personal life, but also to your business life, vice versa. The sooner we can get people on board, the better we're going to be, the better off we're going to be, I feel like, as a planetary species as a whole. The DAOs seem to also be one of the secrets to international commerce. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's borderless pretty much, and you know, like we can work with anybody that we want, and that's it. Like, the more we decentralize, the better. So it is a way to work without the restriction of big banks, you know, and their fees and restrictions and all that. So I'm not saying that's what we're doing. I'm just saying the technology enables borderless transactions.
Right. And also for individuals who are seeking financial sovereignty, seems like there's a big benefit for that demographic as well.
Have you ever heard of the book The Richest Man in Babylon? If not, you can check it out in the bookstore. But it's a classic business book that reveals the key to personal wealth. And it's basically saving 10% every month. So the way I like to save is in gold and silver with Mintbuilder. I've been using Mintbuilder for years. I have created a system where my savings plan pays for itself by signing up people who want to save and start a silver bank account, which ships physical coin out every month based on their budget. The author of The Richest Man in Babylon says that magic number is 10% of your income. Now you can build your legacy with the best pricing on metal assets while helping the nonprofit Feed My Starving Children, which uses 90% of donations for food to stop malnutrition in over 100 countries around the world. Thank you for considering Mintbuilder to build your wealth and feed hungry children. You can go to preciousmetaltrends.com/102026. Complete the form and claim your free silver bullion bar just for taking our short tour and brief survey.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much think in a couple years, everybody's going to have their own token. It's going to be like everybody's got their own Facebook page. So even though people might be afraid of this stuff right now, it's going to be the norm eventually.
Right. Kind of like back whenever the .com phase started taking off, we only saw real major big corporations hopping onto the .com thing. Then little by little, smaller businesses, mom and pops. Now everybody's got a website.
Right. So it just would behoove people to do some research, and we can assist with the research and the strategy. And when you have a team that's on your side, that with infrastructure that's built for you to grow and to go up in value rather than down in value. So right now, everyone that's in the legacy system is playing with debt dollars that go down in value. So it's like shifting, just by shifting the consciousness from exchange system that's based on debt to an exchange system that's based on whatever we say it is. That's why it's magic, because we can design our own ecosystem, our own organization, our own exchange, all of it.
Got you.
The new economy will be designed.
This seems to be rather in alignment with what Jacques Fresco had in mind with a resource-based economy. Did these DAOs play directly into that?
Yeah, well, the only thing missing from his conversation was the currency. It didn't really exist yet, but now it does. Now here we have these electronic cryptographic codes that can be assigned to any kind of asset, whether it's a house or a bunch of bottles. So
Right, or pieces of art or even music nowadays, huh?
So yeah, so the idea is, our bills are in dollars. Okay, well, you could still do dollars, and now they have stable coins which are tied to dollars. So there's
Right.
that. And actually, this DAO is based on that we have, that the Moloch DAO is based on XDAI, which is a stable coin. That's what stabilizes our.
Is it stable? Is it pinned to the US dollar?
It is.
So whenever now I'm sure people are probably asking this question. Um how is, because of the instability of the US dollar, is a stable coin,
It's
it's
just
only has the stability of what the US dollar would have. So let's say is a stable dollar like the XDAI, is it subject to inflation and deflation?
yes, it's tied to the dollar. And I know I just said, why would you go with the system that's going down in value? But the
But
reason,
you're saying just for the sake of paying bills, huh?
well, it's for the sake of establishing value as a first step before creating something else, because everybody values the dollar. I mean, it's like a global currency, even though it's
Right.
having less value, it's still what the world uses. So they go, oh, okay, this is what the world uses. How do we deal with this? Oh, and somebody invented this stable coin.
Yeah, I mean a lot of countries are having a central bank digital currency, or what they call a CBDC.
Right.
That's pretty much along the same lines as a stable coin, huh?
That would be probably a central bank trying to make a crypto.
Correct. Sort of like a crypto option for whatever currency they use.
Yeah, so I would just I think the banks had their run, and they took $35 out of my account when I didn't. They punished me for not having money enough in my life. I see how they roll. Like,
Right.
thanks, no thanks. So if you buy their stuff, cool. Not my strategy.
So how do you think that this new government regulations, and we're waiting on this what is it, an executive order from Joe Biden, do you think, how is that going to affect the new Web3 space, that this part in particular, this DAO technology, will it be affected at all?
It'll affect America, because instead of celebrating its entrepreneurs and helping them do things in the space, it's probably headed towards criminalizing them, if I had to guess, just based on my experience. So I hope it goes better, and I will definitely do and fund advocacy, and try to implement some good legislation. I know in Wyoming they did the DAO legislation, and you got to like manually say who all your members are, which, how I just said, a DAO can add 1,000 members in a day. A traditional company can't. Well, if you got to add 1,000 people to the corporate books, that's going to take a while. So I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but and that's a heavy conversation. I had another podcast with a crypto lawyer, and she just got done doing all this stuff, all this paper trail stuff for a big company. but you know, whatever we do, you know, if we do all that stuff, it'd be when we were a big company. Doing it when you're a little company doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
I know.
Because now
Yeah.
you're spending all this time jumping through, you know, these hoops
Yeah.
instead of surviving.
Right. It's kind of like you don't want to register your business name until you've already got your established money coming in, money coming out. Then you got the money to you go register it, get your incorporation paperwork ready to go. But yeah, like you said, there's certain steps.
Yeah, and will DAOs be affected by it? Not really, because they're built they're designed. All these programmers, they're way combined are way more people than Google has. You know, like
Yeah, I just think that's good for people to know that the decentralized autonomous organization, this technology, with Gnosis and what we're discussing in this conversation is not subject to whatever executive order stuff that we're waiting on when it comes to the crypto world, and altcoins and Bitcoin. I just wanted to make sure that our listeners would know that
well,
this is something that the whole planet can truly benefit from, and it's here. We've been asking for this, so now is the time to not really think about it, but just to, it's a call to action. We got to start taking action and move forward to this new space.
yeah, I mean it's I've definitely tried to do this according to rules, and they were just making so many so fast that we couldn't really get anything done. And they denied our application to incorporate 3 times. I just tried to actually send a check to pay for some fees, and I don't even know if they like every time I try to slow me down with my and so I'm putting my chips into the DAO play just because of my needs and life experience, you know, and problems that I've encountered. This solves all of them. I'm thinking, do I know? No, because it's new. Yeah, but you know, this is my gut and my heart, and so I've already tried it the other way. So why not do it this way?
Who would you say is the most reputable entrepreneur, or let's say venture capitalist? Are there any big names currently in the DAO arena?
Well, yeah.
Can we name drop people so we can give our listeners a little
Well,
homework, I guess?
Vitalik Buterin, the guy that invented Ethereum, is the one that, you know, he put it in a white paper.
Right.
Maybe in 2016. So he kind of got people. You know, he's definitely like a genius, like our modern day Tesla, if you will. So, yeah, I mean, all the crypto people that are in crypto are going DAO at this point. When I first heard about it, it was in a white paper about DApps that was written by David Johnson, who's an investor. Um, he was with Factum when he wrote that. So I think you'll see Ty Lopez is doing the NFTs. I'm sure he's headed towards the DAO. You know, Elon, I'm sure is going to be right there with everybody else. You know, so this is where it's going. So, you know,
Yeah, I want to make sure everybody fully comprehends the level of urgency that this current episode has, and also this current call to action.
well, I mean, like Well, it might be a better question, like what famous people are into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's the first DAO. And that's why I mentioned like Elon and Ty, because they're into crypto. And so if you're into crypto, you're into the DAO, because it's like the DAO couldn't happen until the blockchain happened. So it's a new conversation.
Correct.
And needed the blockchain to be had. So
Right.
There we have it.
New technology coming into play here on planet Earth. Absolutely essential for the this new transition that we're gonna have to the Web3 space, financial sovereignty. Really exciting times. We're living in the most technologically advanced times of modern history. So all of this is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Gates is into crypto, which might make people Snoop, Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, there's so many. The conversation is being had all over the place. So you're saying the DAO technology is hand in hand with crypto and blockchain technology. There's no sort of like saying there's no turning back, meaning this technology isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's going to become more efficient and it's going to become more and more necessary for us.
It's going to become easier to use. And you know what? The more that the other system fear mongers and warmongers and tries to control things and manages resources poorly, the more the rest of us are going to create that other system. And that's what this is a different economy. So when you join us or another DAO, you can just join us if you like us, because we're just a bunch of mad scientists trying to make a better world and blockchain enabled. And so with this DAO, we'll create funds to support other projects. Like I just got a message from a Miami company that wants to do blockchain enabled bottle vending machines, like where people can put their recyclables in a vending machine and get it like a token out. And so
What?
yeah.
Wow.
So what we'll do is we'll just start taking on proposals for these.
That's amazing.
That want to join our DAO, and we make a guild. And so when I selected the type of DAO, like a venture DAO or a club, but we're doing a guild. And
Okay.
a guild is a permaculture principle or term that describes pieces, symbiotic relationships in nature. So
Okay, I'm about it.
So like a plant guild would be the three sisters: beans, corn, and squash, because the beans grow up the corn stalk, the squash,
Correct.
the ground cover, and so they're symbiotic to each other. So that's called a plant guild. So what we're doing is we're creating people that have their own spaceships, aka business. They're using the power of business for good and to create the golden age and sustainability, right? Like, so we go, okay, we have these common values. Let's design a relationship. And so that is enabled by the proposal system in the DAO. So,
that's pretty much explains how everybody sort of in a team building sense. That seems to be the roadmap to where everybody's staying in their lane and what lane that it is that they are specializing in the organization.
Right.
Okay.
So somebody that goes, oh, okay, save DAO, and they read our manifesto, and
right.
I really like that, even though it's kind of a rough draft. You can go to adbongo.io and read it if you want, but it says, we believe that DAOs will power the future of work. Through our network, we assembled a fellowship of the best builders, designers, and hustlers in the space. in order to make this future a reality by selecting purpose-driven proposals and sharing resources, capital, and collaboration tools. We can save your project money and save the planet. We believe in Web3 and are here to build it, use it, and propagate it. The profits from our work will be used to fund impact development of open source tooling and other purpose-driven DAOs. We will share research for our experiments and open source our processes for the community to learn and build from. You know?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So you're open to edits on that?
Oh yeah. Actually,
I would love for you to either email that to me. I had a couple words that maybe I think you might like better. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it's open source.
Oh, word. Okay, that's right.
Open
So
source.
for those of you who are listening that don't really understand what open source means, that pretty much means it's like we're sharing a Google Doc, and those who have the link to visit the Google Doc will have access to introduce edits and changes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like this is going to be the thing that one of the main things that's going to help dissolve these illusory boundaries, especially when it comes to countries and races and even cultural lines that we've created throughout the centuries.
Indubitably.
So somebody who is, if you're looking into being an entrepreneur, if you're looking into what's the best way to set up your business, this is definitely an option to look into. So you're saying no matter what type of organization, whether you're a B Corp, C Corp, LLC, nonprofit, all of these have a spot in the DAO. And can you be in multiple DAOs?
Yeah, you can join multiple DAOs. You can think of it as a blockchain LLC, right?
Okay.
You know, and that's what the Wyoming. So it's like it's hot new tech. And historically, banks and businesses have always had to track the money. Am I right or am I right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so that's called the ledger. So for as long as people have been recording numbers and coinage, they needed a ledger, right? So the ledger just went from that, which is this thing that has always been used to run a business correctly. This ledger just went from analog to digital.
That's a big deal when it comes to as far as efficiency is concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. So if the spine of a business is a ledger, it's an owner first, but then it's the ledger second. You know, if there's a lot of money coming through, obviously if you're a startup, you're probably not running the ledger as efficiently as a big bank is, right?
And we love startups, by the way. We have a history for empowering startups through the incubation machine that John here has created.
Right. So if the spine of a business historically is a ledger and from analog to digital, and out pops Bitcoin, and there's your case study for one, why not pay attention to that? and get in somewhere. So, and if you need help, why not consult with people that can talk to you about it more?
Yeah, the only reason why people, I feel like the most common reason that people come up with when they answer that question, why not, is because of either rumors they've heard or personal experiences when it comes to the.
I would just call it resistance in general.
Well, a lot of people seem to be a little intimidated by the instability of crypto, generally speaking, and the fluctuations because of the typical what most people are used to, the types of influxes that we see in the stock market. And so this being a new space, and we don't really even have data, according to the experts, to help us with projecting numbers for the future because it's such a new technology. All the data that we thought we could go with, we can't. And so I feel like a lot of people seem a little bit discouraged because of the
if you just back up and look at the Bitcoin chart 10 years ago to now, that's all you need to know. Look at point A and point B and
that's true.
Tufu.
That is true. And
yeah,
the same thing with what Vitalik brought to humanity with the Ethereum blockchain. It's even more.
Yeah, well,
he
definitely made it more DAO friend, a more DAO friendly system, though. You know, I think we'll start seeing Bitcoin DAOs and other types of DAOs, but right now they're mainly on Ethereum for sure. So yeah, I think that we're about to hit an hour, man. So I think that'll be a good
cool
stopping place for this. But I appreciate you calling in and having a talkie with me. Where can people find you, Ruben?
Look, if you want to learn anything about MC Medina, the music that we do, or the podcast interviews that I've done in the past, everything Planet MC Medina is available at lovemedina.com. That is www.lovemedina.com. And we are currently in translation, or in what is it? We're slowly transitioning to a Web3 website, and so that's going to be with the help of Big Brother John and the whole team that we put together over here.
Yeah, so, and Web3 basically means now you're connecting a wallet into your website. So why wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, just think about it. So yeah, do the math. More wallets, more money.
Right. And for those of you who want to make a little bit of passive, look into Brave Browser. Set yourself up a basic attention token wallet and start getting pages to browse the web. There you go. And that's
And while you're at it, after you download Browse, Brave, add MetaMask. And then after you add MetaMask, go to the XDAI Block Scout scan and get the little button that says Add Gnosis Chain. And I'll put a link in the show notes to make that easy for you. And then you'll be ready to interface with the Save DAO.
Yeah, and for those of you who may feel a little lonely in the space, we've been there before, and we're here to remind you that you are not alone. We have quite a high level of passion for sharing this information. So don't be a stranger. Send the emails, shoot a text,
like, star, whatever. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. That was actually more than one call between Ruben and I, and I think I got it to a place where it's going to communicate, and we've gotten a little further along. We're implementing an NFT membership to the DAO. You can sign up at adbongo.io. It's a work in progress, so it's not perfect, but we definitely have been implementing front end. We forked Raid Guild, which has an open source escrow and things to take on clientele. So essentially what I'm doing is taking my old company, which is a legacy LLC, and I'm slowly turning it into a decentralized DAO infrastructure. So at first, you might call this like a CEO DAO because it needs a leader and it starts out centralized. So it's not there yet, but it will be. And thanks for joining, and stay tuned for more action. We'll be making plenty of episodes on this Web3 space. So enjoy the rest of your day, week, month, and see you again soon. Bye.